Welcome to another Petoskey Strong Community Update. I'm Nikki Devitt, President of the Petoskey Regional Chamber of Commerce, and I'm very happy to be joined once again by Superintendent Chris Parker of the Public Schools of Petoskey. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Nikki, how's it going?
It is going great. I'm so glad to catch up with you again. We've done this
Great to
quite a
see
few
you.
times over the course of the
Yes, we
last
have.
12 months. And so I wanted to check in for a whole host of reasons. But first and foremost, I want to start off with a kudos to the educators of our community and a kudos to the resilient students of our community. Tell us a little bit about what it's been like in the last few months.
Well, I mean, I think the first thing that stands out is, for all of us, it has been this recognition that we've been in this for 12 months now. And prior to that, just had really no sense of where this was going to take us and how severe the changes and restrictions and all of those things were going to be. But from the beginning, when we started thinking about how we're going to get from March 12th to June 12th last year, our teaching staff, our kid, like people, the story of this year is really adapt and overcome. Our staff have just continued to take on new challenges, learn new things, implement new things, try and adjust their strategies, and have just continued with a sense of resilience and really dedication to kids. It's been the coolest thing ever, is to just be around a group of teachers and just to feel this mutual like appreciation for our ability to have the kids, for the 80% of our 3,000 student body that have chosen in-person instruction, to feel that appreciation for what that's like and what that really means. I think that's been fantastic. And then when you look at our kids, the students, well, you got to wear masks. Okay. Well, you got to do this. Okay. You got to wash your hands a lot more. Okay. Well, you got to do this a lot more. Okay. Well, we can't have that. It's going to look a little bit different. Okay. I mean, just one thing after another. They have adapted, and they have been like, whatever it takes, we want to be in school. And that's fantastic. I think, I was talking with a teacher at a basketball game a few weeks ago who said, we are always putting ourselves out there as educators for kids. He said the different this year is that the kids really recognize that they need us as a learning partner. And it's that partnership that really, I think, is sort of synergistic in nature, that is really sort of blossoming, which is, super exciting to see. So I can't say enough. I could go, I'm already kind of babbling on here, but our staff have just in food service and custodial, like everybody across the board, our secretaries have said, okay, what do we need to do to make this happen for kids at a really high level? And they've done that. So, big appreciation and kudos for what they've been able to accomplish.
And so here we are a year later, and fatigue is a thing. Let's talk about this from an adult perspective. Let's not even talk about the schools yet. Let's talk about this from an adult perspective. We are 12 months into a pandemic that has completely and totally changed our entire lives. We are rallying every day to safely reopen our communities for the sake of our businesses, for the sake of our mental well-being, all while being hyper aware of the fact that there is still a deadly pandemic out there, and that we have to take care of those who are most vulnerable. And that means getting a vaccination when it's your time. And that means wearing your mask and social distancing and being smart about your social gatherings. And I know that whenever we see cases anywhere, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's at a restaurant. It doesn't matter if it's at the school. Our health department is so phenomenal that we know where everything is. And they've done such a fantastic job of keeping us as a community informed. It's a knee-jerk reaction sometimes for people to call out an entity or an organization and say, oh my gosh, you guys must just be awful. And that's what we all have to step back and remember, is everybody's tired. And we're still going to see cases. We had an interview with Dr. Dan Beston last week, and we're still going to keep seeing cases. There's still going to be community spread. So what we have to do is, rather than pointing fingers and being angry about those who slip, because there's a difference. There's a total difference between, oh my gosh, I forgot my mask, or, kids playing sports, mask falls down. There's a difference between that and somebody who outright refuses and wants to cause that friction and really enjoying that. So there's a difference, but I think there has to be a recognition that everybody, this is tough and it's hard to do this. It's hard for our businesses to operate without employees. It's hard for our kids to just live this life. So, that recognition first, along with the reminder to everyone that it is 100% not about you getting sick. If you are younger, if you're our age and you'll recover quicker, it is 100% about protecting your community. And that's what it comes back to, protecting your economic, viability of your businesses is so important. So I think that's something that I know you guys have taken some flack lately. And I guess I just want to put it out there that you don't open the doors to Petoskey Public Schools and see all the kids running around without masks on, like just crazy going nuts. That's not what's happening.
Yeah, I think you hit on a lot of important things, and I think part of it is that fatigue, and I think that makes folks a little edgier and maybe a little more prone to kind of point the fingers at other folks who are doing those things. The bottom line is, for us, our plan has remained the same. We've opened up with a few more tickets per player for our sporting events in accordance with the latest epidemic order and with the MHSAA. So we're following those routines. You mentioned it. I mean, playing sports with masks, whether it's the athletic type of mask or the paper mask, it's hard. It's difficult to keep them up all the time. And sometimes there are pictures that are posted around with that. And it's unfortunate. It's not that we don't talk about that. We continue to reinforce that with our athletes. Actually, officials have mentioned to our athletic director, Joel Dome, what a great job Petoskey kids are doing with complying with that mask order and doing their very best to handle those things. So everybody's trying, everybody's working really hard. And, I think it was maybe signs that came from you guys at the chamber earlier on was, wear your mask, socially distance, and be nice. And I think that, that be nice part, and we get it. Everybody's tired. It becomes a little bit harder, but this is really, whether it's the new variant that's floating around in the wind here or what, it seems to spread, quicker among youth. I think Sheboygan had a bit of an outbreak. Gaylord had one. I think Alpena. And it kind of goes through Charlevoix, I think, too, as well. So seems to like kids maybe a little bit more than the last version, or it's I have no idea why it is, but the overall picture is kids have adapted and kids have adjusted and they've sacrificed to try to do this, and they're tired like everybody else is, but they're still pushing through. And my hope is that this amazing weather that we're having continues and we can get back to doing more things outdoors and open windows and those types of things that will really kind of help to get us back to the economic, place where we need to be, as well as just the whole community health kind of thing. And then if I can just, before we move on to the next question, you mentioned the health department. And, what a phenomenal group of individuals, Dr. Meyerson, Dr. Kazaborski, Lisa Peacock, that whole crew at our health department, where the country is trying to scratch in their head, trying to figure out how are we going to get our folks vaccinated. They have just been, I don't know if people recognize like how phenomenal they have been. And it is just like our clinic, all educators basically in the region. And then now they're already down to like 50 and over with, underlying medical condition. I mean, they are just like knocking it out every week. And that has been, and will continue to be a really great recipe for us to get back to normal as a community.
Right. And to throw in too, to that, the collaboration with the tribal health department that has said, okay, you guys got this. We have, through Indian Health Services, our own vaccine supply, and we don't need it all right now. So, hey, we're going to get all the service industry workers before, so that we can do this as a total and complete, take it from both ends. I mean, that is, our community is incredibly fortunate to have what we have.
So impressive. And to recognize that and to be able to say like, yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
I mean, because you think about that. I mean, back a year ago when we really didn't know, I don't say we, I'm sure some people did, but for the most part, we didn't know what we had. And throughout that whole lockdown, like those folks that, check you out at the grocery store and bag your groceries were going to work.
Yeah.
And
Every
there
day.
hasn't been like a huge call like, hey, we really need to get these guys vaccinated. So that the tribe is willing to do that, I think is incredible,
Yeah, it's
and
huge.
well earned for that group. And we owe them a huge debt of gratitude for the work that they've done.
We absolutely do. Our service industry, we all rest on their shoulders in this community, and we absolutely are aware of that. So we've talked where we are, where we're coming, all those good things, and that we know that it's a tough time, and we know there's variants, and we know that masking is out there. We're all doing our thing. We're all vaccinating. I want you to give us one really good thing, and that is what you managed. We mentioned this at State of the Community just a little while ago, but what you managed. Petoskey Schools has right now, which I think is just a sign of progress, and that is the Little Northman.
Little Northman Preschool. Yes. I think that is, I'm so excited about that. Well, like so excited about our littlest people right now. As you know, every month in our school system is dedicated to reading.
Right.
That's what we do as a school. But in March, there's a
Oh,
national recognition of Reading Month. And so I've had the amazing, incredible good fortune of every kindergartner in our school system is going to read to me this month. And I started last Friday, and I had a whole classroom of kindergartners read. They are so proud to be able to read. They've sort of cracked the code, and I read, I don't know how many books about cats trying to get into the goldfish bowl and the themes of the day. And it's just such a great reminder about what we're all about. And so that gets only better for 32 4-year-olds that we're going to start a preschool with next year. So there'll be 2 classrooms. They're going to be housed at Ottawa Elementary School, and we'll have a Public School of Petoskey's teacher in each classroom as the lead teacher, along with assistants. So we're talking about high quality, creative curriculum, lots of great social and emotional skill building, literacy, numeracy. We'll get them writing, lots of physical activity, and they'll be members of that school community. So what a great way to, we know research says this is a really powerful intervention for kids. They start school after having a high quality preschool experience. There are all kinds of really positive indicators that come from that. And we know that there's a huge need in the community, and we don't profess that we're solving the whole problem here, but this is certainly a step, I think, in the right direction. And we'll continue to try to grow and expand that as we can. And I know that there's significant conversations, and certainly we're a part of those in the community too, about how we can address that issue
yes.
of childcare and preschool, which, we benefit from having a structure. And I think, the chamber benefits from having really good preschool options for workers there as well too. So couldn't be more excited, really grateful for the board, and looking forward to having Little Northman up and running next year.
I just love it. Little Northman. I think that's fantastic. And I hope we get to see somewhere of the photos of March's Reading Month with the kindergartners throughout. I think that's absolutely fantastic. If you want to say just how much that's going to be, that's huge. I think just to see that. We all need good right now. And that is beyond good.
Yeah, it is Friday was such a great day. And I think I've got 3 classrooms this week. One of them is with our little online kindergartners. They're going to be, and they are amazing. I've read to the class a few times. They can unmute themselves, which I struggle with sometimes.
We just talked about this.
We've done it. Chris, you're muted. It's like, oh, darn it. But they can figure that out, and they're going to be bouncing into breakout rooms with me and reading stories to me so that they're getting that experience too. And all of those pictures will be posted on our website. So if you're interested in just some really cool, they're following along with their little fingers, and they're reading, and they're so proud. And what a great accomplishment.
And a good way to end this one. We'll catch up again, I know. And kudos to all the staff and all the students for your resiliency and continuing to move forward. The community supports all that you're doing. And we know that you all understand the importance of keeping the community, the stay safe to stay open. We all know it matters. So we appreciate it so much. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Thanks, Nikki.